Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Practical Prosperity Podcast. This is going to be a weekly show built for people coming into the real world. So, whether that's out of high school or just graduating college, this podcast is primarily made for you. My name is Cole Jensen, and by my side, I've got my co host and good friends, Nick Overbeek, Brady Trent, and Alec Eisman. And our goal is to give down to earth advice to young adults through conversation and stories. So, whether it's how to lease an apartment, making your first investment, or starting your own business, we've got you covered. The ultimate goal here is to help people live a financially free and fulfilling life. And we are available on podcasts everywhere except Apple Podcasts yet because they're really slow for some reason. But yeah, we should be available anywhere you listen to podcasts, and then we're also on YouTube. So, yeah. Today we're going to be on episode 4. We'll be talking about side projects, side hustles, just kind of starting up something. Whether it doesn't have to necessarily be to make money, but that's probably going to be the primary focus. Otherwise, if you just want to start something for fun on the side, or even maybe a little bit first steps into getting a small investment going, that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to start it off by talking to Brady.
I thought you
Brady,
were gonna start talking.
no. So Brady has a lot of side hustle experience, I feel like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like he's very always looking for opportunity in some realm, just looking always to start something. So I'll just let Brady take it from there if there's anything that comes to mind.
Yeah, I don't want to run this whole podcast, but it's basically, I mean, I'm only 23, like all of us, and I don't know. I just feel like since I was 16 in high school, that's where I started creating and basically anything. I had a job, and I started, I built my first website, and that's kind of how my whole entrance into the entrepreneurship realm began because I was like, well, this is actually pretty lucrative. I was selling T-shirts, um, and I'll just list my a couple that kind of stand out. But right now, I have a company. It's vertical golfing. So I whipped up a website, and I basically provide these products to old people, like senior golfers who can't bend over anymore. So they can like tee up without bending, and then they can drive and then pick up their tee and do all of that without needing to, hurt their back, hips, which is a pretty big problem because the age gap or the age range of golfers is getting older and older. So it requires very little marketing, and actually have Cole helping me with 3D printing some products. So that's a side project for you too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. I know
Yeah.
that was.
So go for it.
Oh, I was gonna say that was funny that you came to me with that. You're like, "Hey man, I want to see if you can like 3D print these." I was like, "Oh yeah, I think we could." And then with like 6 modifications, we got something that's pretty solid.
Yeah, finally working. I sent a few, and then they kept breaking. So,
Yeah,
hey, Cole. Yeah, the product it's not working, and some people are pissed.
yeah.
They have to resend them.
Has there been any issues recently with like any of the new
No,
ones?
none
Sweet.
since.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude, it was just those first ones that I was like, especially that first day when I gave you like the small little order of like 5 prototypes, and I broke one accidentally. So it was supposed to be 6, and I was like, oh shit. But I was like, oh, maybe I was cranking on it or something weird. But then I don't know, we just refined them, and dude, you saw me chuck that thing at my wall. Like they're
yeah.
pretty sturdy now. So
Just that's the test. Yeah.
yeah, just chuck it at like the brick wall right next to you. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's one of my favorite ones. It's like I said, requires no marketing. And actually, I'd say products are the easiest thing to sell because it's like you have something and people want it. You don't need to get super creative with it. Like a lot of people sell t-shirts. If you do it right, you can sell t-shirts. Like it's not that hard. People need it and want it. And then you go to like services. So something like a website, that would probably be the second easiest thing to sell, in my opinion, just because that's what I've done as well. And then like one below that, you have like a software as a service. So you're trying to sell software. And that's probably a little harder because well, if you're trying to scale up, it's just hard to get exactly that niche market that you want.
Also, the
But
like skill set required to make a software as a service. Oh,
yeah,
I froze.
you need developers.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Nick, you also didn't you do a T-shirt thing in high school? Positive
Yeah,
karma.
yeah. It started out as Mint, and yeah, I was like 16, so about the same time, Brady started thinking about doing the side hustles too. At the same time, it was like I had Mint, which I thought would be cool, just a Mint clothing line, because everyone was saying it fresh at the time. I go, oh, that's so fresh. So I was like, well, Mint's fresh, so I thought I'd just do that, and then
Genius.
and then that, people were giving me a tough time about that, so I changed it to positive karma because it's like, how can you know, make fun of that? So then I sold, a couple of those. And what's funny is that back then, I'll make this quick. Back then, there was people in our school that were rapping and all that, and getting all this attention from everyone in the school. So I thought maybe I should go to them and like make them hats or t-shirts or whatever. So I went to a couple of them and made them hats, and they were posting on their Instagram and Twitter and everything, and I actually got like a lot of people to come to me and be like, oh yeah, hey, let's collaborate and do this, which was cool. Like that's my little small thing of marketing back in high school. Like, but I didn't know what I was doing at all. It was just more of just this fun thing to do. But yes, I did do T-shirts back then.
Yeah. What'd you guys do the T-shirts on? Was it Spreadshirt or Zazzle or what?
Or Brady, you can go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I've used a lot of things for t-shirts. I was drop shipping them. That's a good way to get into it because
Yeah.
I'm zero inventory. Somebody places an order and you send that order to somebody else and then they send it out. They have the fulfillment. It makes everything really easy. That's what I was using,
Hmm.
but you can use things like Teespring as well. I remember when that first started up, and you just have to basically hit a minimum order, and then you can build your margins in. And actually, the new one now that if you're looking to start one is the on-demand printing.
Mm.
So there's companies like Printful. That's probably my personal favorite because they integrate very nicely with Etsy, WooCommerce, anything like that. Even eBay now, I think, and you can just create any sort of product, mugs, hoodies, t-shirts, you're just generic marketing things and brand it however you want. And then they place an order and they will custom print it and mail it out from their
Mm.
facility. And you just define your margins and pick your product. It's super slick. So yeah, if anyone's looking to start something, that is probably a good way to do it. And get
Yeah.
practice on the website.
Yeah. I would definitely say that T-shirt selling, even though it's really simple, but shirts only last so long, and people are always looking for something new and fresh and mint, maybe.
And
uh, but yeah, no, I actually started up something too. It was called Supercar Shirt Store, and so what I would do is I would go to Google, and I would get a cool picture of like an Aventador or something, and I would break it down to make it like a PNG and with like a little shadow behind it, and then I would find like the actual Lamborghini font, and then I would just say like Lamborghini Aventador, and I'd make this like cool looking shirt, and I put up a few of these designs on Spreadshirt, and it was like, God, when did I do? I don't think this was actually in high school. I think this was like freshman or sophomore year of college. I think it was sophomore year of college actually. And I would average, I want to say it was around like, even with just like the three designs, I was making like 10, $15 a month, which was like, that's not anything, but I was like, oh, I just kind of did it for fun. And then I, got busy and I was like, oh, I should actually like try to do this more. So then I made like six more designs or something. And they were all like, maybe it was Bugatti or Ferrari or just, because I was like, dude, you could just put a bunch of different cars on there, or like the logo, just some simplistic stuff. You guys probably know where this is going. Well, it's like, okay, now all of a sudden I put up all these new designs and I'm like, oh, sweet, like I could market this. I had a Facebook page and everything going. And then all my designs on Spreadshirt got denied. They're like, yeah, this is like copyright infringement. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I have these three designs didn't get marked. And then they were like, oh, oops, that was our mistake. And then they like blocked all those too. So then I'm just got completely shut down, and I was like, damn, because I was seriously thinking like, well, of course you're not even selling your own brand at that point. You're just using Lamborghini, Ferrari, and I'm not even using my own photos and stuff. I'm just doing Photoshop. So it was like, oh, okay, I definitely see how this got flagged, and it's not like a legitimate operation, but it definitely would have made like some solid side money, which would have been cool. But I still have one of them didn't get flagged, and it was like this stupid silhouette logo of like a Subaru STI or something that my friend wanted me to make for him. He was like, "Yeah, dude, that would be sick if you could like make that, and I'll buy a mug or something." So he did that, and then even like last week, I got 2 orders for the thing, and I made the like royalty on it ridiculous. So like every time I sell a design with that, it's like $7 to me. So at some point I'm gonna be getting $14 like out of just nowhere. And then I'm gonna have to like Spreadshirt's gonna have to sell me or send me another like 1099 miscellaneous form for literally $14. Because that's what it's been these past couple of years. I'm like, oh, did I actually sell something last year? And it's like, oh, gotta put that into TurboTax. But yeah, so that's my story with t-shirts.
It's a good spot to start. Start with t-shirts.
Yeah,
Try and
just
build a website and then move on.
and try not to do anything that infringes copyright because you will get shut down, and you'll be like, damn. Alec, did you ever make a t-shirt rig?
No, I never made t-shirt rigs. I would like in high school, I would like design my own like sweatshirts and stuff on sites when you could do that. So like I have designs made, but I would never do any orders.
Yeah,
So
just
I
like
guess I
do it
just
for
never pulled the
yourself.
trigger. Yeah, pretty much. I would just make them for myself, but then I'd like go to like try to order it and be like, oh, you need to order like a minimum of 50, and I'm like, okay, so I'm not gonna order this then.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I
yeah.
got you.
So no, I never got started on the t-shirt biz, but it would have been fun.
Yeah,
I don't know.
absolutely.
Maybe I should start. It sounds like everyone says that's a good starting point. So
Yeah.
we'll
Uh,
see.
I guess
Revive the old designs.
What was that?
Can we revive the old designs? Bring them back. Let's get them going.
Okay. I could try to find them. I think they're like band t-shirts that I was doing. So, like some of them were pretty niche things. So I mean, if I were to like try to start something with it, I probably wouldn't do something like band t-shirts because once again, probably like copyright type stuff going on there.
yeah,
So yeah. But yeah, I could
exactly.
try to find those at some point. I don't remember what site I used. It was way back in high school, but
Hmm.
yeah.
Exactly. Now,
Yeah.
I know me and Alec, we got onto YouTube pretty early. And I guess Alec, you'd have to inform me if there was any other like projects or side things that you started. But we both did YouTube for a little bit, not very seriously in high school.
No.
Want to talk
And
about Yallen?
no, probably not. I mean, that was just like that was like in middle school, wasn't it? The
Yeah,
Yellen
yeah, that's true.
YouTube page. And I know you had your, I
Mr.
don't
That's
know.
Ye.
Yeah, we would like upload like jailbreaking like
Yeah,
videos. I know that I had like a doodle jump one that actually got like a lot of traction at one point. Like I remember it got into like the tens of thousands of views, and I was like, whoa,
yeah.
this is actually kind of cool. And I think I made like a jailbreak theme. Like I just basically took like a whole bunch of like pictures from Google of like different like backgrounds that you could get on your iPod before you could get like backgrounds on your iPod,
Hmm.
you
It
had
was
to
a
like
big deal back
jailbreak.
then.
It was a huge
Yeah.
deal, and you had to like jailbreak your iPod, and then like you could like actually set backgrounds to it and stuff. I just remember making 2 different like, oh, cool jailbreak themes background video, and part 1 and part 2. And
Hmm.
I just put music over it, and then yeah,
Got
those actually
views.
got a lot of traction too. Yeah, but I don't think I made any money off of that. Like I didn't like ever monetize my videos or anything. I didn't
Yeah.
upload enough to be able to get that either.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
just kind of
I had a
something for
lot of
fun on the side.
Absolutely. I had a lot of similar videos like that in that early middle school, early high school stuff where it was just yeah, it's just crappy videos. I remember like when I had a Windows phone, Snapchat wasn't on there, so having a third-party Snapchat app was like huge. And so I was one of the first people to find like the third party. I was just because I don't know, all of my friends were using Snapchat, and I was like feeling left out because God forbid I have a freaking Windows phone, because just there was no apps on the store. So a third party one came out, and I actually made a video, which is still live. It probably would show up like Snapchat for Windows Phone, and that one got like 200,000 views, like pretty fast, like actually. So, and that was, yeah, it was gained a lot of traction, even though it was such a bad video, dude. I'm so monotone and like, I just I just sound very depressing to listen to. Just a bad video. But I had a feel like that. I remember also hacking like this game called Tiny Wings on the iPod Touch, and I was like, "Oh, you hack your high score," and I like went into remember Cydia? Was that what it was called, Alec, on the jailbroken iPod?
I don't. It sounds familiar, but what was
It was
Cydia
like
again?
it was the
Was it the App Store kind of?
it was the
Or...
brown. I don't know if it was the App Store. I thought it was like the file manager, or you could get the
Oh,
file manager from Cydia.
okay. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
and so I just go
And you
into
can just
there.
like go in. Hmm.
Go in there. I went into the app and then I don't know. I was just literally looking around through like some of the code files because they were a lot less like now all of that stuff's stored on the cloud, so you can never like hack your score unless if you're really just a machine. But back then you could just like type in like 99999 and so then you just basically I don't know. It was like how to hack Tiny Wings, like, and this was when it was like one of the most popular apps, and then that one also got a shit ton of views. And I actually
Hmm.
so YouTube, I did monetize with Mr. That's Ye. I had a little bit going on there, and what did I get? I think I got like a $60 paycheck, and then after that, I accidentally deleted all of my videos. Like it was really
I
just a
remember
shame.
that.
Yeah, it sucked honestly. Like I'm still kind of mad. Like I think there was literally 120 videos I deleted on accident, and so all
Wow.
this hard and there how.
Yeah. How?
See, dude, this is one of those
Because
things where it's like
YouTube
I was just trying
sucked.
to. Yeah, and at the time, I think this was before Google bought out YouTube, so it was kind of like its own thing still, which it was still big. But went on there, and honestly, I think there was literally it's like two check marks, two check boxes were right next to each other. One is like the most recent video, and as I recall, when I did this, there was no like warning like it gives you now. Because now, if you delete a video, it's like, are you sure you want to do this? This is a permanent and cannot be undone. So it's like, oh, warning, maybe I shouldn't do this if I'm not feeling it. There was none of that when I did this, as far as I'm aware. Or maybe there was a glitch or something. I don't know. But all of a sudden, I was just meaning to delete just some recent video because I'm like, oh, this one's stupid. And then all of a sudden, it was just like deleting videos, and then it just boom, 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 boom. Like it just went fast, and I canceled it. So I saved some of them, but ultimately, I was still like, what the fuck? Like, oh yeah, it still makes me mad to this day. But then it's like, okay, now you're not eligible for monetization because you don't have the set amount of shit, and yeah. So now that turned me off from the Mister That's Ye channel, and then in college I started up Shibaduba, which was like a League of Legends gaming thing, and now I've taken all those videos down because it just makes me cringe even thinking about them. And okay, this is a little off topic, but all those videos too, it's like Dylan loves if we're at like a family gathering event sort of thing. I don't know if people are drinking. Dylan, all of a sudden, if we end up going on YouTube, we watch some music videos and whatever, just hanging out. All of a sudden, Dylan gets control, and Dylan is always just typing in "Mr. That's Ye" or Shibaduba immediately. So that's all cut off now because I just rebranded Shibaduba to this channel. So, but I got some
Yeah.
decent. I had some decent views and fun with Shibaduba. I did Twitch for a little while, but I never made any money with anything. It was just kind of a fun project, and then also, I mean, it was with the intent to like, oh, if I keep growing this, I could make money off of it. But I just League was way too time consuming, and I just didn't want to be like a gamer anymore per se. It's like I wanted like what, if I'm gonna play games, it's gonna be really really casual. And so then yeah, now it's just kind of like aviation, cars, entrepreneurship, aka it gives me freedom to do whatever the fuck I want. So yeah. Nick, what about? I feel like there were some other side projects you get going on. I know you definitely got into e-commerce like more recently, but because I don't think you did that in high school.
Yeah, it was going back to the t-shirt thing. I did mine on Spreadshirt.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still around because I haven't done t-shirts in a long time, but what Brady said about the Printful stuff is like huge. Like there's so many on demand. But anyway, I did another like around when I was 16, I did Xbox controller, like where you get like the different, not skins, but the different plates on them, where like if you want like the carbon, I don't know, different limited edition like plates you could get. And I can't remember the companies that did that back then, but like you have the different mechanical joysticks and all that. So I would take the original hardware out of them and just kind of customize different Xbox controllers, and then buy the parts on eBay, and then resell them on Craigslist. Which I should have resold them elsewhere, but at the time there wasn't like there was Amazon, but it wasn't like it is today. And eBay, what people wanted stuff cheap at the time, so I thought Craigslist would be the best option to sell these things on. I didn't make that much money on it. Like I'd make like $5 or $6 an Xbox controller after everything, and it was just so much time consuming, and I was just like, this isn't fun. But yeah, the e-commerce thing, that was probably, I started going really hard on it like a year ago. Just trying, like went on YouTube, tried to learn like everything I could, and just started implementing stuff. But like I agree with what you guys said, is that's probably like the best starting way if you just want to make some side money to do it.
I would also, I was add a quick note. I would also say like mowing lawns if you're in like suburban area. Like if your parents have a lawnmower, just like take that bad boy, just go door to door. It's like, hey, I'll mow your lawn for $15-20, and it's a solid start too.
Yeah, exactly. And I know, like, I remember as a kid, my dad told me that too, and I was like, oh, God, I don't want to door knock. I'm like 15. Like that's the last thing I want to do is be door knocking with people. But then again, you're a kid, so like most people are going to be like pretty respectful of you. But even at 15, I probably looked like an adult, just balding and with a beard. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I did too. Is I just went, next door, the like neighbors in our cul-de-sac, and I mowed a couple lawns. And then snow blow. Here in Minnesota, it snows a lot, but snow blowing or that kind of stuff, or shoveling was huge too. So I did that a couple of winters where like it was me and a couple other guys in our class, and we just went around like shoveling people's driveways. Like, hey, $20 will do it, right now. And they're like, oh, sure, I don't want to do it, so $20 here, and then we just split it by the end of the night. So, but yeah, it was just small stuff like that. But that stuff, the experience that you learn from all those small little things adds up over time. So like, today where you got working on much bigger projects and hopefully making more money, just all that experience adds up over time.
Yeah, 100%.
And yeah, sorry if there's banging, like, the knocking going on in the walls in the background.
Oh, I haven't heard anything.
Right outside the wall, so I'm like trying to mute myself, like when I'm not talking.
No, you're good. I haven't heard anything. It's also, I guess, lemonade stand too. If you're really young, which if you're watching this, if you would be the lemonade
really
stand
young.
type, yeah, you should not be watching this podcast. My God, yes, it's just click away.
That's a business.
What'd you say?
That's a business. That's a legitimate business right there.
Oh
Lemonade.
yeah, exactly. I just like if you're like I don't know. If you're getting entrepreneurial at like what 8-10 years old, like Jesus, man, you're gonna be a unit. You're gonna be a freaking machine growing up. Yeah, I remember garage sales too was also a good thing to sell shit. Just like I don't know, you just find stuff you don't use or don't care about, and that's a fast way to make some money. Or even just selling, not even a garage sale, just selling stuff right now that you don't have a use for. Some quick not even tutorials. It's more so it's just like take some decent pictures and do a little bit of research into it and get it listed on Craigslist or eBay or Facebook Marketplace now is really good for that. And you can make some solid just cash there, just selling shit that you don't want.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people right now that are flipping couches. Like get them for free off Craigslist, like clean them, make them look all nice and whatnot, and then sell them for like $80, and people still buy them. It's like, it'd be a good, easy way to make money. That's like $80 in your time. So yeah, there's plenty of ways, especially on Craigslist, to buy and sell items that you don't use or want to flip.
Totally. And then if your neighborhood does have a garage sale, I remember one time me and Dylan made a bunch of money because this all stemmed from my dad's idea. We didn't think about this, but my dad bought a bunch of candy from Sam's Club, and he was like, "Hey, you guys should make a poster and just sell this candy to all the people coming through the garage sales." And so me and Dylan were like ripsticking around in the driveway with just like holding up this sign, and it's like, "Oh, $2 for Skittles or dollar water and all this stuff." And it's you can't technically do that, reselling from Sam's Club, but yeah, you're not gonna knock a kid over it. And we made, I think it was like around $200 like profit from that, and that was pretty sweet because I mean, Alec, especially the Wilds, garage sales get pretty big.
Yeah, they definitely do.
Hmm.
Yeah, I sold a bunch of like my old Legos and Bionicles one year and like made a good profit off of that. I get, well, profit. I never bought the thing, so whatever money I made off of it was basically,
Yeah.
straight into my pocket, but probably not the same price. But I sold them for a much higher price, like almost like retail value, and like a lot of the stuff was really old, and it still sold like super quick.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, it was just crazy. Like I didn't think there was a demand for it. And then like 2 hours later, my dad like sent me a text and was like, "All your stuff's gone." And I was like, "What? Really?" I wasn't expecting like any of it to sell, but
Hmm.
yeah. So people in the wilds, yeah, they get pretty crazy in them
Oh yeah.
garage sales.
Totally. Yeah, it would be a freaking zoo in the neighborhood when those were going on. Like you would just have, I don't know. I mean, it was a whole neighborhood thing, so it wasn't like, oh, here's just like this one-off garage sale. It was like the whole fucking neighborhood is like set up to do a garage sale like over this weekend. So then people would hear about it and be like, oh shit, all these people are selling stuff. So then they'd come through and you could literally just walk house to house and you just find a bunch of stuff. So I'm sure there's a decent amount of flipping going on there too.
Yep.
Speaking of flipping, aren't you trying to flip like vans or?
Yeah. We're I have a business partner. We're trying to find like, a piece of real estate, and right now we could probably get something on the lower end, but it wouldn't be an area that we want. And so we're just trying to get creative. And this guy, he actually wants, I don't know if you've seen them, those camper vans, but they're everywhere. If you start looking for them, you see them probably. I see two every time I'm just driving around town. It's crazy. I don't know
Really?
why. Everybody has them. They're all over the place. So it's the camper van. So you take like an old Dodge ProMaster, or even a new one, and then you convert it into a camper, and you put in make them super modern luxury, and then sell those. So it's like 36,000 or so for the van, and then you put in about 25 to 30,000 in materials, and then a little more for labor, and then you sell them for like 80 to 90. And so we have talked to a bunch of campers, or RV sales people in the area, people who own businesses like that, and they're pretty interested. The only thing is we just have to build one and say like, hey, we can do this, create a website, video it all, put it all on YouTube, and try and get that following, and then start basically building and selling them. Because we would have to manufacture the first 1, 2, 3 before having somebody else manufacture them to put together docks and like bill of materials, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It just sounds like a lot of work right now. So if I had like a shop, then I think I would move forward with it. But until I get a shop, I'm gonna have to hold off for now. But
It's gonna chill.
yeah, we're definitely gonna do it at some point. It just depends on when the best time is and finding that space to be able to do it at.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. A lot of people in New York, actually, they use these camper vans as their homes. It's like a way to prevent homelessness because real estate's so expensive. You get a camper van at, a sixth of the cost, and now you have a pretty decent spot to live, actually.
Mm-hmm. How big are they? Are they like I just can't. I'm trying to think of the length. These like.
I'm trying to think. Inside I think you have 156 inches of length, and then it's about 6 feet wide on the inside.
Wait, 156 inches of length?
Yep, from the front, like the back of the seat. So it's like you have your driver's seat, and then from there to the back doors, you're 156 inches.
Okay, I
Yeah.
see.
And then it's 6 feet wide and 6 feet tall. So it's basically a cube.
Okay, just a really small home on wheels.
That's exactly what it is. The hard part's getting like a bathroom or shower in there,
Ooh,
but you can definitely do it. It's just it costs quite a bit more to
yeah,
find something like that in there.
yeah, that's cool. So, where do you guys find time for, like, if we're talking to the audience here, um, how do you guys go about finding time to, start up something like this?
Well, like what's the alternative? Like I quit playing video games, and it wasn't because I was like, oh, I need to be more productive with my life. I was just like, I just kind of got bored of video games. Not like I'm not woke now or something weird like that. Like I wake up at 5 in the morning and get to work.
Brady's
Yeah.
Brady's third eye is opened.
No, I love. I go hang out with my friends, and if I'm not, then it's like, all right, then I'll work like on side hustle. Like, why not? I think it's fun
Mhm.
to do that stuff, and just be successful business wise is entertaining to me. Other people, I don't know. I just know so many people that they come home from work, they drink, and then
Yeah.
go to bed early, and then wake up late, and you're like, what are you doing with your life? Waste the whole weekend. I
Yeah.
never waste the weekend. I'm always outside doing something, hanging out
Hmm.
or working on something, just having fun or making progress.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to energy. That's probably like the next thing is making sure you have all the energy to do everything. But so Nick, you work. I don't know when you started your e-commerce like side business stuff. You were still at FedEx, right? Or there's a point where you had two jobs, like the
Yeah.
battery place.
Yeah.
So I guess give me that timeline and then where you found time.
So the battery place would have been 2 years ago. Yeah, I was working at FedEx. Well, we're gonna start the beginning of my day. I started to work at the battery place at 9 a.m. So I'd wake up at like 7:38 ish, and then I'd go to the battery place from like 9 to 5:30, and then I'd have 30 minutes to go from the battery place to FedEx, which started at 6. Usually, sometimes the start times for that adjusted to like 7 at the latest, and then I'd work from there from 6 to like 10:30, 11, and then it'd take me about 30 to 40 minutes to drive back home, and then I go to bed and then just redo it all again. But during that time, I wasn't doing any side hustle stuff. I was reckless with my spending and bought a car that I probably shouldn't have bought at the time. But I was just there wasn't really there's saving going on, but I wasn't doing any side stuff then.
Hmm.
So I mean, it's been in the past year and a half where I've kind of definitely sat down and just tried to grind. Okay, where is my time better spent? Um, so in the past year, I picked up full time at FedEx. So now it's like I start work sometimes as early as 4 in the morning, and then sometimes I don't get done till 5 or 6 p.m. So trying to find that time is key. So like, okay, I'm gonna give myself 30 minutes when I get home from work, just to kind of eat, relax, and just breathe. And then I'm going into whatever I need to do from this time to bed. So
Hmm.
it's just time management is key, especially when you work a full-time job, because if you truly have that dream, you're gonna have to really narrow down and be strict on yourself about where your minutes are being spent. So that's just
Absolutely.
my take on it.
And then for those of you in school, and Alec can touch on this too if he wants. Um, so like when I was in school, of course, full-time engineering school, it's going to take a lot of your time. And then I had a job. This was where I was at SciRide, and that was 15 to 20 hours a week. And then, any other time was, you're trying to balance social life and, you want to be able to work out and, just do fun stuff on your own. And then, of course, it's like, okay, I wanted to, you know, any of these little side projects that you work on, you want to find time for that too. So that was tricky. But it definitely helps, I guess, when you focus though too. If you just like try to focus on one of those things, or really just kind of lay it out. It's like, okay, what do I remember doing this kind of when I was starting up jazz in school. So I still had, full-time engineering school and ride, and then social life, all that other stuff. But I was like, okay, well, Well, then also actually before that there was JAS. I guess that first whole semester I was trying to do JAS, SciRide, and full-time engineering school, and social life, and fun stuff. But then it was like, okay, I realized that, for my happiness and, believing in the idea of me and Dylan, with the company, that I should not work at SciRide. So, that was one of those big things where I'm like, man, if I cross that off, I would really open up my schedule and it would give me the time to do that. So, if you really just if you want to focus and, just get a sheet of paper, write out like, where do you spend most of your time? I've found that that's a pretty helpful thing, especially if you do feel like you're busy and you don't have time, then you got to cut something somewhere, then you can make time for it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Just being able to like see exactly where your time is spent, because you need to build your life around your goals. Like if there's a job that the hours don't work for your, what you want to do, okay, then find a job that's in the same, industry. Like for example, like yours, just find one that will work around your schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Like because then you can build your life on where you want to go instead of like being a slave to something that
Yeah.
it's just gonna take you longer and you can't like work on your goals.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
And then, too, having that little bit of personal motivation to do something other than just, because there really is some people where it's like, you know what, I go to my job and then I just watch Netflix or play games. And I'm not name dropping here again, but Alec, one of our neighbors, apparently, his mom was talking to my mom, and apparently all he does, I don't know if you know who I'm talking about. It's your next door man.
Actually, tell
It's funny because I know exactly what you're
Oh,
talking
next
about.
door?
Yeah, next door to your right, Alec. Now you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
But
sure.
apparently,
Well, right from the back or the.
okay, looking at my house to your right.
Okay. Oh, okay. Got
And
it.
if he's watching this, then that's just a shame because now he knows. Um, yeah, but he apparently
Wake up
like,
call.
yeah, well, okay, it wasn't even like him. It was like his mom was saying this to my mom, and then, so I was like, wow, that's why it sounds like you're talking beef on your kid almost, because it's like apparently all he does is go to work and then just watches Netflix. Like anytime he's not working, just Netflix. And I'm like, what? Like that kind of surprised me because he doesn't seem like that type. But his mom was just like complaining. He's like, oh my god, that's all he does. Just watches Netflix.
It's
So
bad when your mom's complaining about it.
yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I just thought it was funny. Like I literally like died laughing when my mom told me that. I was like, seriously, that's what he does? It's hilarious. But I mean, honestly, that's probably not going to be a fulfilling life if that's all you're doing. So I mean, if you really just love Netflix and watching movies and TV shows endlessly, because I love all of that, but very much so in moderation. When I have some time where I'm just like, oh man, lower on energy, I just want to chill, then I get into that. But otherwise, yeah, you want to do something a little bit more active, and I don't know, you don't want to waste your life away. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
one of my roommate. Do you have something to say? Sorry, go.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I mean, I I used to, or I would say that I got like more into like watching and trying to study film, I guess a couple of years ago. And it can be a productive thing also. Like now,
Mhm.
like when I'm watching, like if I'm gonna watch a movie, like I usually end up like trying to think more about with it and like I don't know, like use my head a lot more to like write a review
Mhm.
afterwards and just like practice like my writing skills and that kind of thing with
Yeah.
it. So you can turn like pretty much anything into like something that's productive.
Yeah. Well,
But
that.
yeah, you shouldn't be like watching movies all the time and that type of
Mhm.
stuff.
Well,
But
it sounds like the way you're doing
yeah,
it though, that's not just watching it. It's like it's a hobby for you, right? It's like something that you thoroughly enjoy. It's just, for fun and for pleasure.
when I get the time for it, yeah, I
Yeah.
love to sit down and try to like absorb a lot of the things that are in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether it be on like a technical side or like emotional side and that type of thing. Yeah, I just try to get my thoughts down on paper often
Mhm.
and yeah, try to make it somewhat productive and practice my writing skills, something like that. Like
Nice.
I was saying. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's cool.
you
Uh,
can turn anything into being somewhat productive and
mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say is not all if you start a side, if you start a project or a side hustle, it doesn't have to be I don't think it always should be an intent for money because, well, it really kind of depends on what avenue it is because there's, with a lot of hobbies, I mean, that's a lot of people on YouTube when they've made their total hobby of whether it's like, mountain biking or vlogging, like Casey Neistat or whatever, just like daily life stuff. They've turned that hobby into something that they can monetize by just, filming it and, you know, giving some commentary over it. Um, so I think, yeah, it's definitely important to have, fun stuff that you start up that's purely just enjoyment. It's like, and it might even be a money suck too if you, I know for me and Nick, cars is that thing where it's like, you know, a lot of, financially, cars are not a wise thing. Well, they're not an investment. They're totally just a liability. But it's like, okay, well, this is something that I truly enjoy and I'm passionate about. So it's kind of a trade-off there. I was gonna say my one roommate sophomore year, dude gamed so much World of Warcraft, like an unhealthy amount, like by far. He would first week of school, he'd go to class and stuff. Second week and beyond, nope, no classes. He was literally nocturnal. He would sleep all day and then he'd get up at like 6 p.m. and sometimes I'd get food with him or whatever. And then he would just play World of Warcraft all night. All night. The whole fucking night. Not a different game, just World of Warcraft. So I've probably told some of you guys this already, but guess how many days he put onto that game?
Let's say 350.
More than 350.
I was gonna say, was it 512?
More than that.
What? Okay. Holy
Yeah. I'll just cut to it. It was literally, I think it was like 850 days on World of Warcraft. And that's like 850 times 24 hours, some people it's like, "Oh man, I got 18 hours on that game." And it's like, wow, that's a lot of time, and it's like that's nothing, dude. That's nothing at all.
gosh. How does
Yeah.
that not get stale after like the first 20 days or
I don't know.
first 20 hours?
I don't know. It's honestly, it's like, it's sad in a sense because it's totally an addiction for him. But I mean, you literally
Yeah.
think, I mean, what is that? That's over 2 years of your life, I think, literally
Mhm.
gone on a game. Like, you have actually spent 2 entire years of your life on a video game.
And him being in college, it's like literally a tenth of his life is just spent on that game, pretty much. Then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like
Crazy.
that's like, and then the other like half has been sleeping or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
or the other third
Yeah.
is sleeping. So it really like
Oh man,
he only has a very small. Yeah, that is actually sad to think about.
yeah, it's pretty fucked. But I mean, I don't know. Sometimes he would get a little bit more social or want to hang out or something, but largely no. And yeah, that's where it's just okay. Obviously, he has like an addictive personality, and the game is essentially his life. Like, he would rather hang out with his online World of Warcraft friends than anyone in real life. But also, it's like, okay, I'm sure he has a lot of fun on there. I'm sure well, for that much time, I think he was a beast on the game. But as soon as you're not in that, you're only playing that game in real life. So then when you actually are not playing that game, or you're, forced to do something else, or how about just fucking make money to support that? Because there's no way his parents were gonna just let him game his life away in the basement, So at some point, that lifestyle is going to be unsustainable. You're going to have to get a job of some sort, even if it is not a high paying job, just to sustain your gaming addiction, and then you're just going to be ripped. You're going to be ripped. So now, how do you guys go about finding energy to, start up something on the side like this? Because I know for me, it's like, of course, having enough sleep is a really key thing. But then those days, not every day, especially if you're busy, you can't get that core amount of sleep. Sometimes you're sleeping 5-6 hours and you're like, oh, you're just kind of drained that next day. And it's really hard to find motivation, after a full, 9-10 hour day of work, and then it's like, oh, now I'm supposed to work on my side business, and then oh, now I want to push the podcast episode out, or I want to go work out or something like that. It's hard to find that energy, so opening it up for discussion here.
Yeah, I guess I'll start since no one else is starting. So my for me, like I on average I only get 6 hours of sleep a night, but what keeps me going energy wise is just knowing that I just have to push through it. Especially at work, because at work is like pretty physical and it's a lot of driving for me, with being a delivery driver and everything. So having that energy, of course, the knocking's happening right now. But anyway, so with all the energy for me is just knowing it's the motivation. It's the motivation that knowing that this is, temporary, and that at some point there's going to be a time where I can enjoy the fruits of my labor. So like, and FedEx does a good job, but it's tiring. It's like soul sucking. God damn it. This hasn't happened this whole podcast. It's happening right now. So
that's great.
So anyway, yeah, it's like I'm using my FedEx job.
Okay.
I'm using that. I'm using that to fund my fun stuff, pretty much. But anyway, someone else can go because this is just continue that.
Brady, take it away.
No, I agree with Nick, and maybe it's more a question of like motivation than it is of energy. And I was listening to a book the other day. Sorry, that knocking was. Yeah, so I was listening to a book, and I was trying to find motivation to clean my room, and so I'm like skipping through chapters trying to find the topic that I wanted. I was like, oh, motivation, here we go. And it was like the pain of like not doing something. So it's like, if I don't clean my room, I have to live in a messy room. Like I don't want that. It's like, so the pain of like agonizing over that is worse than the pain of actually like getting up and going and doing that. And so that's where I was like, oh, fine. And then I went and did it. I was like, I should have did it a while ago. I sat and wasted time, and like it was not great. And it's just a simple example like that. So you think of any sort of side project where you're just like, man, getting a grind. Starting something's easy and fun. You can whip something together, but when you get bored and you get in that grind, you're like, all right, I need the motivation so I can have that success that I want. And if I don't, I'm going to be salty at myself and my life or whatever. So that's my piece.
Yeah. Big Elk. He just froze. Yeah, if anyone's watching the YouTube video.
Any side business.
Oh, sorry. Alex froze there as soon as I asked your screen froze as soon as I asked the question. So I asked you something, and then you were just like,
dude, it's been doing this.
It was pretty funny.
First the knock, and then okay.
Yeah. But I was gonna say, I guess for any of your side investing type stuff, or I know you said you wanted to stop gaming, especially kind of during coronavirus. It was something that you were trying to stop. So I guess where did all that energy and motivation come?
Well, just like getting ready to graduate and take everything more seriously, I guess, and trying to make more money and find ways to actually do something with my money too, rather than just like spending it on whatever I want at the time. That's not exactly. Damn, I think I froze again.
You're good now. It's a little intermittent. I can't say that word.
Sorry, did I just completely cut off again?
No, you're good now.
This internet is just unbelievable here, but yeah, I just wanted to find ways to do something with my money rather than just like spending it on things. And because it's not like fulfilling to just like spend all your money on things all the time, like there has to be something else that. Yeah. And so for investing though, like in my thing, like it didn't take much time to like learn the basics of it and then just like go out and actually buy some things. So like, yeah, if you're on the fence, just don't sit and wait to take action for something for a while. Like if the idea pops in your head and you want to go for it, then just like, do a little bit of research and then get into it and do it. So
yeah, as Shia LaBeouf once said, just do it. You know?
Yep.
That's such a like cheesy, stupid video, and if you're younger, you probably have no idea what the hell that even is. But it's a video where just Shia's just screaming at the camera behind a green screen, and he's like, "Do it!" But that kind of thing, for one point in my life, I think it was a freshman in college, that was almost like a motivating thing because I mean, he's literally just yelling at you. Like it's pretty aggressive, and if you have that kind of mental voice in your head, that's all that's preventing you is like what's stopping you. It's kind of like Brady with cleaning your room. What's stopping you from doing it? And there's really nothing, of course, if you're at work, you can't do it, but if you're literally just hanging out, then you can just I don't know, just fucking do it. It's like if you want to clean your room or get your dishes done, it's something you need to do. And that goes same thing for starting a project or side hustle. Like a lot of this YouTube stuff, like the podcast, it was just something me previously would have been slower at getting to it. And this idea still was it came up a little bit, and I thought about it before actually getting it rolling. But then, so I'm not like it's perfect where, oh yeah, if I say I'm going to do something, I do it like literally that second. So it still took a little bit of time to get this going. But yeah, I mean, I eventually just was like, all right, hey, Nick, Brady, Alec, what's your guys' availability? Like, let's get a Zoom going. Let's kind of discuss it. Let's set a game plan. And then you just started it. And now it's been weekly since we've started it. So it just kind of happens. And that initial setup usually is what takes more time and thought. But you're gonna get a lot more out of it when you're doing something that you feel creative about and passionate about. And so now it's like I love this every week. I feel so. Nick actually visited me this past weekend in Indy because this FedEx perks. He can. What was your flight ticket? Like $30 to come out here.
It was 60 round trip. Yeah.
60 round
Instead
trip.
of 1,000 round trip is what it was quoted as right before.
So
yeah.
so $9 more than our brew burger bill and beers to come visit.
Yeah.
But no, it was really sweet having him. We just got to kind of check out the city and stuff like that. But we were talking about how the podcast every week it just kind of aligns us. I feel like it's a good thing for me because you kind of think about your past week reflection and stuff like that. And I know today after this, I plan to have some fun because it's still a weekend. I might go downtown with Lizzie, but other than that, there's just some jazz stuff I want to get done on the list, and yeah, it's gonna be just motivates me to get the day going. So yeah, I mean that's if anyone else has closing thoughts or like last thing they want to say for just I don't know any advice with the side hustle, go for it. Someone please.
If you haven't started something, do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Dude, I think that was the closing on one of our other podcast videos too. Brady, you saying the same thing. Like, just do it. Cole's like, I'm just looking for some final thoughts, and you're like, just do it.
Yeah, just really high level wisdom right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't overthink
I
it.
mean, yeah.
Maybe we need some negative reinforcement.
Yeah, if you don't do it, you're a bitch.
You guys are pieces of shit. You're never gonna make any progress in life.
If you don't do this side project right now, you're just gonna be a fucking bum degenerate. Now they have to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Degraded them enough.
Exactly. All right. Well, if anyone has any comments, thoughts, you comment that below or reach out to us. We'll get back to you, but we're just gonna cut it there, and hopefully you're feeling bad.